why is it over now? I mean, Scorpions have just announced their 60th anniversary tour, so there's like many years ahead, hundreds of shows, a couple of albums for Sepultura. So why did you decide to finish it now?
I think it was a great momentum. 40-year anniversary is a great mark. We have an amazing history behind, coming from Brazil, playing almost 80 countries around the world, bringing the Brazilian music to heavy metal, to thrash metal, to heavy music in general. And we did a great album, Quadra, our last one. We survived the pandemic situation, the lockdown. You know, I went through also a personal experience with my wife. She passed away after cancer 2.5 years ago. And it gave me a whole new perspective of life when you respect finitude, when you respect dying, when you don't deny that. We have a tendency not to talk about dying, to talk about death in general. And after her passing, a big part of myself died with her, but at the same time, other parts came to be, you know, to new experiences, new ideas, new horizons, you know, new situations. I didn't choose that way, but it came to be. And dying and death has been my biggest professor, you know, my biggest teacher. And it felt that for Sepultura it would be the same, really, to give a rest. I was feeling very pressured to write another album, to do another cycle, to do another tour. It's not easy to write an album. You really have to be focused 100% on. And we decided to quit, to stop for a while. We are recording a live album on this tour. We're gonna put out a live album. And so we still have stuff to do in the next 2 years. You know, we're not in a hurry. You know, we say goodbye, but you know, relax. We do it our own way. We like to fulfill our last wishes. Let's say go to Iceland for the first time, go to places in Africa and stuff, play in places that we've never been before, do partnerships and tours. A lot of stuff are happening, and you know, proposals. We like to go everywhere in the world. I really enjoy this moment, you know, and really afterwards just breathe a little bit. You know, since I joined the Sepultura in '87, we never stopped, you know, never. Even on the lockdown, you know, we create an album. When we change singers and managers and stuff, we always rehearsing, we always working towards the future and etc. And it feels like it's a good momentum because we're still young enough to be motivated to start something else from scratch. Of course, I'll be involved with music. That's what I do. I love to do. I'm not gonna quit Sepultura to sell cars or something like that, you know. I'm gonna keep doing music. I still study music and etc. You know. So, and it feels great. It feels exciting. This is the best tour we'll be doing in Europe in our history. You know, a lot of people coming to see Sepultura for the first time. Other fans that you know, they met at Sepultura concert. Now they're married. They have their kids with us. You know, it's great. It's a fantastic feeling. You know, it's a very thankful spirit. You know, that we say to our fans, thank you so much for keeping this band for 40 years so much alive and relevant. You know,
such a farewell encourages me to, and probably made you to do some sort of recapitulation, to look back on what actually happened on this journey. I will ask about a couple of moments. Can you remember the moment when you first thought, wow, this is really happening, this could be something I will be doing like for the rest of my life? Because obviously it's different attitude when you start your first band. Even joining Sepultura, it was already established band, but still at very early stages.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't say established, but they have one album recorded. They have like a few shows under their belt, and never played outside Brazil. So, you know, it was really starting. When I joined, I brought all my influences. We did Schizophrenia, we got the contract with Roadrunner, and everything started, you know. But yeah, I think when we recorded Beneath the Remains, that's where I think I felt that we were doing something really unique or special, you know, that we could really have a career, you know, recording an album with a label from King Diamond and Merciful Fate. For us, was very important to be there. We chose the best studio in Brazil to record. Scott Burns came from the US to produce the album. And we announced a European tour with Sodom and then America and stuff. So, you know, I was getting paid. We're selling shirts, we're doing the merch and stuff, you know, so we're starting to understand the business, what a record label was, A&R and managers and tour managers and taxes and all the bureaucratic stuff, you know. So Beneath the Remains, I think, was the time that really we started to see this as a business and not only, you know, having fun, like we still do, thank God.
The success of Sepultura brought worldwide attention to Brazilian and South American in general metal scene, and of course many bands followed, but none of them had a career that could be compared to what actually you did. So how do you think? Why is that?
I don't know, man. There's so many different factors. It's really hard to keep a band together with the same focus and same objective, you know. And I think we got that. Sepultura was a very professional band in the sense that we always rehearse every day. You know, we had the support of our families. We didn't have to find jobs to support ourselves because our families were there to support. They saw us. We were doing something very serious, you know, with a lot of passion, a lot of discipline, and it kept Sepultura going throughout many different phases, ups and downs. You know, it's hard to say what is the secret, you know. And we were always like fearless to try out to, you know, we bring the Brazilian percussion to heavy music. You know, we were the first ones to do that because it felt so natural for us. Percussion is already heavy, you know, so it was missing only the distorted guitar. You know, that's what we did. And we develop everything, and we still a part of our music, you know, percussion and all those rhythms. I don't know, it's hard to say. Everything is about context and the momentum as well. You know, late 80s, we were ready to do what we were asked for, even if we weren't ready to go to Europe without roadies, without speaking English properly. We just went there, you know. How do you gonna learn, where are you gonna learn that? There's no school that teach you, you know, now you go on tour, you're gonna do this, you're gonna do that. We didn't know anything. And that was great because we learned daily, you know, day by day, learning and observing a lot and listening, learning a new language, learning the terms, you know, to talk to different people. And I don't know, and we were always true to ourselves. I mean, we always very locked in the present, you know, the momentum, not really trying to repeat the past or something like that, you know. And I think that he always kept Sepultura fresh, you know.
That actually leads me to my next question, talking about being fearless, talking about keeping Sepultura fresh. When someone succeeds, they usually try to repeat what actually brought them this success. And Sepultura is one of these bands that has been taking the risk a couple of times during the career. I would say at least 4 major sound changes, and probably more even if you like pay attention to what's actually happening on the records. Why did you do that actually? If something's not broken, why would you fix it?
This is what Sepultura is all about. If we try to copy, we couldn't, because we're trying to force something that is not natural for us. We just are what we are, and that's it. If it's change, if it's the same, if it's not, it's a part of perceptions of people. You know, I think Beneath the Remains or Rise have a lot of similarities and stuff, but they're very different albums. And then Chaos AD is something else, and Roots and Against, you know. We're working with the context of the time, you know, and being creative with the elements we had. And the consequence are the albums, you know. You cannot plan that too much, you know, let's do this the same and let's try to repeat in ourselves or repeat roots and stuff. That doesn't work, you know. It's done. And we did it, you know, so it's done. Why you want to try to repeat something is not there anymore? Like new ideas and new elements are flowing and all around, and you still focus on the past, you know. It doesn't allow you to evolution, to know yourself. You have to put yourself in positions out of the comfort zone, because otherwise you believe, oh, I'm Andreas Kisser and I have to wear this clothing and I have to have this hair and I have to play this guitar and this lead. And then you're lost, you know? You're just there as a puppet of something that what people, you think what people expect from you, you know? That's why I love artists like David Bowie and Queen, you know, they have Beatles, you know, they have albums that, you know, they are what they are. It's not because they did something in 1963, they never will do Sgt. Pepper's, for instance, you know? It's the momentum, it's what they believe and stuff. And I always say we create a new Sepultura every day. We are what we are. If you go there and play harps and violins, we're still gonna be Sepultura. Led Zeppelin, for instance, you know, that many different albums and stuff, you know, they're just musicians that really like to explore and experiment.
And having such a vast catalog now, and such diverse catalog too, and being forced by your own decision of farewell tour to create this last unique set list, is it like a difficult thing to do? Because you tell me, but you probably have to think what fans expect, and they probably have different expectations depending on when.
We never think about fan expectations, man, because we get crazy. It's insane, especially for Sepultura that doesn't have like a stereotype fan. You know, we have fans that like the old school, fans that like the new school, fans that like a certain album, fans that like one song, you know, whatever. They're all fans, you know, we have to respect them all. So we do what we do. We cannot, we all did, you know, tours like we open for suggestions and fans write and stuff, you know. But in the end, it's almost the same songs, you know, they want to listen, you know, so there's not too much difference there. But yeah, because we are recording a live album, we are playing a lot more songs that we have, because we are recording every show. And the idea is to put out 40 songs in 40 different cities around the world, you know. So we've been recording since Grayson joined the band in March. We have a lot of material. But yeah, since we have this new drummer, it takes a little while to get more songs in the roster, you know. So we have the songs we play live, we probably have another 10 ready to go and stuff. So we change accordingly to our mood.
Next to football players, I think you've got the greatest contribution to the promotion of Brazil worldwide. Do you get credit for this in your home country? I mean, medals from president, do streets have Sepultura or Kisser name in Brazil?
No, not yet. I'll just say Paulo got condecorations in his state of Minas, which were the state where Sepultura is from. You know, so he represented the band, being a native from Belo Horizonte in Minas Gerais. He got a medal, you know, from the cultural achievements and stuff, and we were very thankful and honored, of course, you know. But no, I think, you know, in Brazil you have to die to get that kind of stuff. You die first and then you have your
And talking about dying, is there life after Sepultura? I mean, do you already have plans? And do you think you can handle different pace of your life? Because actually you've been doing this, as you said before, all the time. So maybe that's kind of tempting now, but can you imagine a year of, you know, not doing this, not touring, not recording?
Not really. I'm not really concerned too much about this future. Like I said, we have another 2 years of this touring. I like to enjoy the moment like we're doing here. Every show has been amazing. It's a fantastic feeling. I have so many different options. I already have another band called De La Tierra. I have a radio show in São Paulo with my son for 13 years now. And you know, I have some parallel things that I already do that I might have more time really to dedicate to those. And I also want to do like a guitar lesson, finally a video talking about my style, Sepultura's music, acoustic guitar and stuff, to put more time on that and really do that. A lot of people ask for that as well, you know. So I want to really have more time to do this. And I know so many musicians, so many bands. I'm really talking to people, oh, let's do this, let's do that, you know. I have an idea to do a reggae project with Derek, who knows? You know, I like to keep it open. I mean, it's a little scary, but at the same time, it's very exciting, you know, to feel that freedom that we could really express and really see what happens. I think that's why we are stopping, right? To get away of the comfort zone, to get away of artistically like having different air to breathe, you know.
My last question is going to be about Poland and Polish fans who watch this video. I'm sure they recognize the bricks behind you because this is like the cult venue in Poland, spot that you've played it actually, I believe, on your first visit in Poland and afterwards as well. Do you remember any of these, shows in Poland in the 90s?
It was so exciting to be here, especially after Iron Maiden came. You know, we saw the videos and all the excitement of the fans, and we came here when we felt that as well. You know, it was so powerful. And we played big places like this, and people were there singing the songs. You know, it was such a great surprise for us that we couldn't imagine, that people knew Sepultura so much, even better than ourselves. All the stuff that we did, and albums, autographs, and I remember we went to visit Auschwitz. I think it's near Katowice, to see, this historical part, the museum, and everything was so new for us, so special. The Arise tour was so intense. It changed our lives forever. Coming here for the first time and playing places like even Moscow and St. Petersburg. We went to Latvia and Lithuania, and Poland, it has such a beautiful history with Sepultura. Every time we come here, we kind of remember that first dates, the first time and stuff. It's really, I talked to the guys from Behemoth as well, they remember that, the impact that Sepultura did and stuff. And it feels good, to be a part of this, to inspire young Polish kids to pick up their instruments and play and, do their own art, their own music, and it's great feeling that Sepultura is somehow a part of this as well.